Because if one more person tells you that you're psychoanalyzing them, you're gonna lose your shit. So, what exactly does this mean? It means you're more in tune with your surroundings, other people's emotions, other people's grief, other people's happiness, and not just people, it could be anything. But the minute you realize the energy's off, suddenly it's like you're in their head and they don't want you there. They really, truly don't. So you feel misunderstood because you want to connect. You want to be able to help other people. I had to pause the video for a second because I just had the most phenomenal deja vu. I just started filming videos a couple days ago of just getting in tune with my intuition. And I just remembered a dream that I had when I started a TikTok channel for my spirituality, and I remember it and it just flashed back to me. I need to take a minute to process this for a second. We'll have to cover that in a different video. Let's get back to this topic. As a highly intuitive person, you tend to be the person that people come to. They tell you things. Sometimes they don't even know that they're like spilling themselves out to you. And sometimes you don't even have to say a word. But for some reason, when your intuition is calling you to someone and it's tethering you to them because you feel like there's something they need to get off their chest or something that they're thinking about or something that they're feeling about, and you just know they need to express it, that's probably problem number one, the need to know. Yes, you might intuitively be knowing something that someone else probably hasn't even taken the time to process yet. Maybe that time in their life hasn't even come up yet. Maybe you're presenting ideas to them that they don't want to think about, they don't want to process. One of the things that I think we have to be really careful with is mindfulness, but not only your own mindfulness, the mindfulness of others. One of the things that I grappled with a lot my whole life was telling people what they were thinking or feeling, and nothing bothers someone who's on a different level and a different plane than being told what they're thinking and feeling because it feels invasive. But why does it feel invasive? Well, it feels invasive because it is invasive. You love this part of yourself and you accept this part of yourself. Being in tune and intuitive with the outside world, it's so important. But nothing can bring you down more than when someone tells you, get out of my head and stop psychoanalyzing me. What do you do with that? What do you do with that when you know you're being spiritually tethered to someone and you know they're going through something? You can see it on them, you can feel it, you can just absorb the energy that they're giving off, and you know that they're troubled. You know that something's wrong. And then eventually you get into a point to where you just stop talking or you stop bringing it up or you stop acknowledging that you know that they're feeling differently than what they're presenting themselves as to what they're feeling. This has been an issue of mine my whole life. And it wasn't until recently where I really started to process how this type of intuition can actually affect people, and it can change their mentality of thinking. It can change their feelings. It could even change how they feel about you. Because once they feel like someone is inside of their head, they're going to lock you out, especially if they don't want you there. And it may come off as a severe rejection, super severe rejection, but you just always have to remember in this spirit world that is around us, our non-linear world, you're in a space that you're not supposed to be in. And that's okay to acknowledge and realize and take a step back from that. How to cope with this from what I have been doing in the past year is tarot reading. Tarot reading has become so special to me, so special, because it kind of gives me an intimate relationship with my cards in terms of being able to release that energy of what everyone is feeling and what everyone is going through and where everyone is going. Because not everyone wants their mind read or wants their future read to them, just read it in the cards and put it to rest. Start a tarot journal. Tarot card reading has been really special to me because there are times where my loved ones are feeling a certain way and they don't want me there. They want to put up that block, and you don't feel special because you know that intuitively you can help them. You can't do that if you're being invasive. So sometimes I find that, like, if I'm shuffling my cards and a card jumps out at me, or I'm doing a reading, maybe those same people that are troubled come to you and say, "Hey, can you do a reading for me?" But one of the things that we have to respect in this line of spirituality is respect and boundaries. I am definitely still learning it, because when you don't become awakened, you don't realize that you actually are psychoanalyzing people, but you're doing it on a spiritual level, because for you, everything you are doing comes from the core of love and trust, and wanting that person to trust and love you enough to let you know it's okay to tell me. We have to remember that if we're not invited, we're not welcome. Sometimes intuitively, a person may just pop up into your mind and you're thinking about them or you're dreaming about them, and a part of you feels like, there's a nagging to it. You have to reach out to them, you have to check on them and see what's going on in their world. Pull cards. The more you get to know your cards, the more the cards will trust you enough to present to you what needs to be read. And I find that tarot reading, because it is a one-on-one interaction with me and my cards, I don't have to worry about hurting anyone. I don't have to worry about giving them information that they don't want. I don't have to worry about them feeling like I'm inside of their head. Always remember, invitation only. But that does wrap me up into the thought of being called a psychoanalyzer. A lot of us, because we've gone through so much and experienced so much, some of us have had exposures into the world in a different way that not a lot of people are familiar with or comfortable with. Having had an NDE myself, I feel like the spiritual world just smacked me in the face and said, "Here, take all of this and take it back with you and figure out what to do with it." No guidance, no nothing. And a lot of the times, what was simply intuition was being categorized as disorder. Sometimes, when that nagging gets to you and you are pushing yourself onto someone and it almost becomes obsessive, like you can't get yourself to stop. And no matter how many times that person tells you, "Stop, get out of my head, stop thinking for me, stop answering for me," you're not understanding it, because you feel like you have a message for them. And that message is either whatever it is you have to tell them or whatever it is you have to guide them through. Learn to stop. I truly do believe that when the time is right, people already know that you have a deeper and profound understanding of the world. They will come to you. Honestly, I've seen it so many times. I once had a professional in the science world tell me, "You have lived multiple lives in this lifetime." And I never understood that. But through every spiritual awakening I've gone through and the expansion that's come with it, I've started to realize every single shed is putting to rest a different life and starting a new life. And every time I do it, it expands and it gets a little bit bigger. I love that about myself. It's not something I appreciated about myself in the past, but once you learn to accept who you are, then putting up roadblocks yourself instead of having someone put one up for you is very special. Very special. So, why do I say tarot reading is the way to go when you don't want to push yourself onto someone? If you're an intuition tarot reader like I am, things come naturally. For me, tarot reading is literally just a story from start to finish. And whether I'm reading for myself or whether I'm reading for someone else, to me, every time I finish a tarot session, it feels like an immense closure. And that obsessive, nagging thought in the back of my head, I can put it to rest. And then I can open up back that door that I've locked when that person is ready to receive the message, receive the story, receive the guidance. Only do it when someone needs it and wants it and ask for it. And you'll realize that this part of your intuition can be protected and it can be, what's the word I'm looking for? Lassoed in, you know? Like you're going to lasso it and catch it and bring it in, rein it in, because you do feel such a heavy amount of energy inside of you. And when people around you are looking at you and calling you a psychoanalyzer, it's very destroying, especially if you don't know what it is, because maybe you have questions. Maybe you're wondering what this is. Maybe you're wondering why people are always calling you that. But deep in your heart, you know it's something deeper. You know it's something spiritual. You know that what you are wanting to present to them is coming out of love. And when you come to that realization, you start seeking a better understanding. And sometimes that better understanding leads you into the spiritual world of understanding. Sometimes intuition can take a toll, but if you accept it and not try to label yourself as there's something wrong with you for knowing more at a time when a person isn't ready to receive more, I think those negative trains of thoughts that we have of like when we're ruminating and we're thinking to ourselves, there's got to be something wrong with me. All I want to do is help them. They just don't want to see it yet. If you reframe that as they're not ready yet, I already know in my heart how I can guide them. I'll pull a spread, journal it, put it to rest, and move on with my day. Because you are highly intuitive and people are already attracted to talking to you, letting you in, and coming to you, if you were meant, I'll say this again, if you were meant to open your heart to them, it will happen naturally. Nothing will ever feel forced by you or forced to receive. Yes, it does mean you have to be a little bit more quiet. Yes, it means you have to internalize a little bit more, but find you a deck of cards. I found this deck at a local crystal store. This one is Ethereal Visions. It's an illuminated tarot deck. This has become my deck for the people that I love and care about, or the people who just need to know what's going on. The stories that come from this deck feel so special. Whether the person is ready to receive or not, that's okay. But this deck I felt like a deep spiritual connection to, in terms of I can use this deck to help people. Start to learn how to intuitively tell stories from your cards, and then it's going to be between you and your cards. And when your receiver is ready to receive, they will find you. Let them find you. Don't go seeking. If the universe has taught me one single thing where it comes to being intuitive with other people's emotions and feelings and well beings and the things that they're going through, they find me. And it feels a lot better to help someone who wants to be helped. It feels a lot more suffocating when you're trying to help someone who's not ready to receive. You're not a psychoanalyzer, you're just a little bit psychic.